In this video, I'm going to go over my current routine that I'm doing from home and is listed on the GamerBody.com website as of shooting this video. So let's jump right into the program. Hi there, my name is Derek and welcome to GamerBody. Quickly going over the program, this is broken into 5 total days with 3 resistance training days and 2 cardio/carry days. A quick note, there are quite a few pieces of equipment I am using in this training program. I've acquired them over the years, and I've also done a lot of reviews on this channel for each piece of equipment. So now let's jump into the program, as this will take quite a bit of time to go over and cover everything for you. Starting off on day 1, which for me again is a Monday, we have the good old deadlift. Being one of the best lower body/back exercises, this is a staple that should be in everyone's training routine. For this exercise, I am using dumbbells. You can also use resistance bands. It's up to you, but you will need one of these 2 types of equipment in order to complete this. If you don't have any, you may need to go and find an alternative outside this for a good, decent lower body exercise. The next exercise is the incline dumbbell chest press. For this, I am using an adjustable bench. Many of you may not have this right now, so if you don't, I recommend just switching over to push-ups for the time being until you can get your hands on an adjustable bench. I prefer the incline bench press just to hit a little bit more of those upper pecs, as my lower ones were overdeveloped from doing just flat bench for too long, as well as I enjoy it more, and I can easily get out of this position if something goes wrong. Where if I'm at a flat bench, I'm trying to drop the dumbbells to my sides, something could go wrong where I kind of tear at a pec because it's kind of releasing it in an awkward way. Where if I'm in that incline, I can just drop them forward right onto the floor if I need to. And again, if you don't have this equipment, please just go with push-ups for now or something like dive bomber push-ups, and you'll get the gist of this while doing it from home. Alright, moving on to exercise number 3 for day 1, we have the chin-up. Now I am using a doorway pull-up bar, which I will link to in the description, but many of you might not have one of these as well right now, so if you don't, you will need something like a resistance bands or maybe a table where you could do inverted rows instead, because again, a lot of you might not be able to actually do chin-ups themselves, so if you can't, inverted rows are the next way to go, where you could just be under a table and pull yourself up, or if you have a dip bar station or something like that, you can use that instead. Or the last one, if you want to put up resistance bands, put them up somewhere high in your place and then pull down doing lat pull downs, you can do that as well for your training routine. Alright, bringing in the first core exercise, we have cable crunches. Now for this, you will again need resistance bands. So I again will link the ones I'm using in the description below, but just make sure that you have some type of resistance bands put up higher. So for me, I actually connect it to my pull-up bar, put it on the opposite side of the door, so I'm pulling the bar into the door frame when I'm using it, and that way it is a good anchor for me as it isn't gonna come loose. If you don't have the resistance bands, you can always just do something like standard crunches, or if you have some extra weight, maybe some books, you can do the Otis up crunch, which is where you put your hands above head and you're using your abs to push straight up from the ground. That way you can do your home training. The next exercise is the shoulder shrug. For this, I will be using dumbbells. You can also use resistance bands, but I found this works best with dumbbells or heavy weights in each hand. You're going to be focusing on the upper back and traps here, maybe some shoulder activation as well, but basically you're pulling up with your traps to try and raise the dumbbells up by your sides without really moving the rest of your body. I actually found that this helped a little bit with my posture, as well as giving me a little bit more upper back and traps development so that I could do some of the heavier lifts a little better than I did before. The next exercise we got are skull crushers. The focus here is on the triceps. Now again, for this one, you don't have to have a bench. I prefer the bench because I can get a greater range of motion, but you can do it straight from the floor. The one thing you will need are dumbbells of some kind or some weights that you can put in your hands, such as like heavy books or something that challenges your triceps to grow. Moving on, we got your good old standard bicep curl. Now the bicep curl is great with dumbbells or resistance bands. You're going to see a theme here that you probably either need dumbbells or resistance bands to do a lot of these exercises, and that is no different with the bicep curl. This is a staple for building any bicep strength, so I highly recommend that this be in your foundational basic training programming. And our last exercise we are doing is the calf raise. So for this, I like to stand on something off the ground. So for me, it tends to be my adjustable bench. Again, I just put it flat and then I just stand on it with either weights or just my body weight and go through the full range of motions to really help develop my calves. And that is it for day 1. Again, that is a lot to cover in just day 1, so we're going to jump into the next couple days moving forward, but that is day 1. You will need, again, a lot of equipment, mainly dumbbells and resistance bands. Hope you have those, but that is what I'm using in my current training while doing it from home in this little apartment office. With day 1 out of the way, let's take a look at day 2, which is our first cardio/carry day. So for your cardio options, I like to go with the following. If I'm outside, I tend to like to do biking. Yes, I do jogging from time to time if I don't feel like bringing out the good old bike, but biking is more fun for me overall, and I enjoy it a lot more than running in general. So for this, I recommend just doing a bike for 30 minutes, or again, jog for 30 minutes, so that you can build up a good base endurance cardio strength. Now, if you are stuck inside and can't go outside, maybe it's like winter for you, or you have the current virus that's going around right now as I'm making this video, you are inside and you need an option. So for me, and I've been doing this one a lot lately, and that is to do carries or farmer's carries. However, for this, you will definitely need a piece of equipment, and that is dumbbells to complete this, or some kind of heavy weights that you can put down by your sides. I like to do 5 to 10 sets of 60 steps. So I do kind of like a normal walking pace for me, and I just take 60 steps, and that is one whole set for me. I tend to do between 5 and 10 of those, being that after the 60 steps, I take about a 2-minute break in between. So this averages from about 15 to 30 minutes, depending on if I want to do 5 or 10 sets. And that's it for day 2. So day 2 is not all that hard. Again, you have your carry option or your cardio option. You pick based on the weather, viruses going along outside, or if you need to do them in the comfort of your home. With day 2 out of the way, let's take a look at day 3. And again, for me, this would be a Wednesday. Now for Wednesday, we are picking another big movement to start this program, and that would be the bent over rows. For this, again, you will need either dumbbells or resistance bands to complete this, and an optional piece of equipment would also be an incline or adjustable bench. If you're using the bench, you can lay on it. Just note that if you're using a bench, this does remove your lower back and legs from actually being in this exercise, as it would be more just overall back focused. But if you want to hit more of the entire body and have to stabilize yourself and lift properly, or maybe something more functional to real life, I would say that the bent over rows where you're standing are actually a bit better overall. Next exercise is the overhead press. A big upper body shoulder movement. The overhead press is basically a staple for anyone looking to build bigger and stronger shoulders. For this, again, we will need either resistance bands or dumbbells to complete this. If you don't have those equipment, you can do this with body weight, doing something like a pike press or push-up, or a handstand of some kind, like a wall handstand press. Note that even for me, wall handstand presses, because I don't do them all the time, are extremely difficult and are really taxing on your body. I don't know many people who can do this, so I just start off with a simple pike press and see how you go from there. The next exercise is a good old reverse lunge. For me, I like to use my dumbbells here, and I actually do them about max weight. And I take the dumbbells and we're just going to be stepping back each individually, and then left then right would be one whole rep. And I tend to like to do, for this program, if you're looking at it on GamerBody.com, 6 total reps. So that'd be 12 technically with each leg, for a total of 5 sets. Moving on, we're looking back at the core, and I have the hanging leg raise. This might be one of the harder exercises for most of you, as you are hanging from a bar and lifting your legs using your core muscles. However, I find that my grip strength tends to fail before my abs a lot in this exercise. So there are some options you can do. You could just do reverse crunches on the floor, using just your core to bring up your knees to your chest level. Or you could even set up a bench at a slight incline, hold the top of the bench, and then bring your knees up, which is actually a version I'm looking into implementing more in my training. But just know, I still feel like the hanging leg raise is one of the kings for building a solid abdominal region. Okay, moving back to a shoulder builder, we have your good old lateral raises. This hits the medial delt on your shoulders to help give it that width. So I like to have these. You can use either dumbbells or resistance bands for this one, or again, something like books or any other weights you can hold in your hand and bring up to your sides, you can use for this exercise. For me, I actually prefer bands here, as I have had a slight injuries with my shoulders in the past, and the bands are just a little nicer on them overall, while still providing enough resistance for them to get bigger and stronger. Moving on to triceps, we have the triceps pushdown. For this exercise, you will need resistance bands to complete this. What I do is I actually use my doorway pull-up bar, and because it has parts that come out towards me, and then we have the bar across, I actually put on so that it's coming on the opposite side of the door. So imagine you have the door frame here, the bar handle that actually holds on the opposite side of the door, and I'm putting the band across on the other side, pulling it into the frame. That way the bar doesn't come off the door and hit me in the head while I'm doing these. So once I have the band set up, I step back a little bit and we're just gonna push straight down, activating those triceps and getting them to be bigger and stronger. All right, now onto our bicep exercise, and we are doing some hammer curls. As you might have guessed, we need either dumbbells or resistance bands for this one as well. Now the hammer curls are going to be focusing on more the outside of the bicep muscle. So we're going to again be doing the hammer style here and not having palms up. Palms should be facing in towards one another. That way we can help develop an entire bicep that looks whole instead of just a little flimsy bicep by just doing standard bicep curls. And the last exercise, and this is the same as the last one I had before, and that is calf raises. So I'm not changing this one up at all. It's literally the same thing where I stand on my adjustable bench, set it flat, and then I just do calf raises with, again, dumbbells or no weight, and I just go through the full range of motion to hit my calves. I'm not doing toes out or toes in. That doesn't really matter to me. I'm really just hitting those calves to get a little more work on them for each training day. And that is it for my day 3. So Wednesday is now in the books for me. So we're going to be moving on to the last 2 days of this program to take a look and see how they go. All right, we are going to take a look at day number 4. So this will be a Thursday for me in my normal training routine. So let's take a look. Again, we're going to have 2 options, a cardio option or a carry option. So let's start off with the cardio. For me, this is good old jump roping. Jump roping is a lot more fun for me, and I love to do with the cross ropes. These are pretty expensive, so if you just want to jump rope with a standard jump rope, you can. I just like them because I think they're a great jump rope system. If you don't have a jump rope and you can't buy one right now, I recommend just doing it in place, just doing shadow jump ropes, where you're just doing them in place for yourself to, again, just help build some cardio and get that heart going. Now again, if you can't go outside due to weather or again the virus that is going around, I have the overhead carries. This one again will require dumbbells or weights of some kind that fit in the palm of your hands and that you can lift over your head. What you're going to do is you're going to lift the dumbbells overhead straight up, get into good posture, and just take again 60 steps per set and then rest for 2 minutes. Just like the farmer's carry on day 2, I like to do this for 5 to 10 sets, meaning this will take me between 15 to 30 minutes to complete. And that's all there is for day number 4. So again, not too bad, and you can get some great either better strength with your carries, or you can work on that cardio with jump roping. Now we've made it to our final training day, and this is day 5. Tends to be a Friday for me if everything goes correctly in my week, so let's take a look. Starting off on Friday, we got one of the best lower body exercises, and if you guessed right, that is the squat. For me, I like to do more of a front squat with dumbbells, or just do standard bodyweight style squats. You can use bands if you'd like, but I prefer to use the dumbbells overall, as I feel they work the best. This one I can load up actually a decent amount of weight on, kind of like the deadlifts. I can pretty much max them with my 50 pounds that I have at home, but they are great exercise to again hit those quads and pretty much all of the lower body while just placing the dumbbells up in front of you to add some additional weight. If you do not have dumbbells, just do them with body weight for now until you can get back into a gym. At least you are getting your legs to work a bit while you are away from the gym and doing it from home. Moving on, our next exercise is the pull-up. So on day 1, we had chin-ups. On day 5, we are doing pull-ups. This way we can get really good back activation and really help to develop the upper back. Now again, I'm using a doorway pull-up bar. If you do not have this, you can use bands and do, again, lat pull-downs. If you don't have something like that, you may need to either use a dip bar station or a table of some kind to do inverted rows, so at least we can work the back. The back tends to be one of the harder muscles to do at home without equipment because, again, you need to be pulling in some manner. That is why like inverted rows on a table will work, but just make sure whatever you use that it is sturdy enough to hold your body weight. My next exercise is the dip. So we are focusing on hitting the chest and triceps with this exercise. I personally use the Liebert dip bar station that I use at home in my little apartment here. If you do not have that, you can just use a counter that has a point that comes in order to do it, or just any kind of surface that is stable enough that when you press down on it, you can lift up your body weight. Now, the more vertical you get, the more triceps you're going to use, but the more you kind of come over the table, the more chest you will use. So just take that into account while doing this. Now, looking at our core base exercise, we have the ab roller. Now, for me, I have an ab roller that I personally use, and that gets the job done quite well. If you do not have one of these, you can just do standard hand walkouts from your knees. And this is actually still pretty difficult because you actually have to balance as well. Your obliques are actually going to get some work here if you're doing it hands each time. So each time you go out, your body's going to have to stabilize you while you're walking out your hands. Just note that this is the same kind of function as the ab roller wheel. Not quite as smooth, but it will work for the time being. Now, looking at our shoulders and kind of more of a postural exercise, we are going to be doing band pull-aparts. You will definitely need resistance bands for this one. I'm not sure how you get around it for this exercise, unless you had some kind of like elastic rope or something that I'm not aware of. But I use resistance bands, and you're just gonna set them in front of you, pull them apart, and help activate the back shoulders as well as some of the back muscles to help improve your posture and bring your shoulders back a bit. I used to be super forward rolled shoulders. Now I've actually brought them back quite a bit by really just focusing on doing this one. You can also do face pulls if that's more of your fancy, but I don't really like to put things up in front of my face and pull them towards me just because I'm afraid it's going to whip me in the face. I've had bands actually snap across my back and stuff before, so I prefer just pulling it out in front across my chest, and that works for me. The next exercise we have is the overhead tricep extensions. For me, I'm going to be using dumbbells or resistance bands here. I actually prefer resistance bands for this one, as I don't like when they come down over my head. I tend to wear a bigger headset or over-ear headsets, and when I do things over my head, it knocks them off sometimes, so that's pretty annoying. But with bands, I find that I don't hit my headphones as often, or my head that often for that matter. So I prefer to use resistance bands for this one. It's really up to you, but a great exercise overall to get good stretch in the triceps while doing the movement, as long as you keep the elbows in position throughout the entire movement. Onto our bicep exercise, we are going to be doing bicep curls again, but this time we're going to go through the full supination or turning of the dumbbells while using it. So again, while you're doing it, you're going to start in kind of a hammer style, and you're going to turn them as they come up so that the palms are facing up towards the ceiling or your face. That way you can get the full movement of the bicep curl while doing it. And to end our complete total body week, we have the calf raise. Again, I have not changed anything here. You're basically going to end every single one of these training resistance days with calf raises. And again, I'm using either dumbbells or just my body weight to go through the full range of motion while standing on something like the corner of my deck, or using my adjustable bench when I set it flat and just do the calf raise exercise. So I hope you did like this look into all the exercises I am doing for my current program, again, as of shooting this video, to show you what I'm doing for my home-based training. If you did like this type of video, please like and subscribe to GamerBody for more videos just like this one. When you go to GamerBody, you can see my current training tab, equipment, and all other resources I'm currently listening to, reading, whatever it may be, in order to build muscle and confidence, all from the comfort of home. So that is it for this video. Again, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Be fit and game on.